Hey everyone. So, in a world where AI and automation are literally changing everything about how we work, what's the one thing that really makes a professional stand out? It's not just what you know anymore, it's about how you show up. Today, we're going to dive deep into emotional intelligence, or EQ, and figure out why it's pretty much become the new currency for success at work. Let's just kick things off with a number that should make you sit up and pay attention. 71%. Yeah, that's how many employers now say they value emotional intelligence more than a candidate's IQ. That's not a small shift. That is a massive change in what companies are truly looking for. So, if it's not just about raw brain power or technical chops anymore, what's taken the top spot? This question really gets to the absolute heart of how the professional world is evolving right now. And that brings us right to our first section, the new skills gap. And we're not talking about a gap in coding or data analysis. No, this is a gap in our uniquely human skills. And believe me, it is becoming more and more critical every single day. The pace of change here is just staggering. Think about this. The World Economic Forum is predicting that almost half of our core job skills will be different by 2030. As AI gets better and better at all the technical, repeatable parts of our jobs, the skills that become priceless are the ones machines just can't do: empathy, self-control, and social awareness. All right, so we've established why EQ is so incredibly crucial in this new landscape. Now let's get really clear on what we're even talking about. What is emotional intelligence really? At its core, emotional intelligence is really just a powerful set of skills that helps you be smart with feelings, both your own and those of the people around you. Now, the most important phrase here is learnable competencies. This is key. Unlike your IQ, which is more or less fixed, your EQ is something you can actively work on and improve. So, to really wrap our heads around how to build it, we need a kind of blueprint. And for that, we're going to turn to the work of researcher Daniel Goleman, who broke EQ down into 4 essential pillars. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here with the first and most foundational pillar: self-awareness. You can think of this as the bedrock that all the other emotional intelligence skills are built on top of. Now, this is so much more than just knowing if you're happy or sad. It's that ability to recognize your emotional triggers as they're happening and to see exactly how those feelings are affecting your thoughts, your choices, and even the people you're talking to. And this quote nails the payoff. When you're truly self-aware, you can stop just automatically reacting to things and start intentionally choosing how you want to respond. That little bit of space between the trigger and your response, that's where all the magic happens. That's where professional effectiveness is born. Okay, so you have that awareness, you can see the emotion rising. What do you do with it? Well, that leads us directly to our second pillar: self-management. Self-management is basically self-awareness in action. It's the skill of handling your own emotional responses, especially when you're under stress. It's about feeling that flash of frustration or anxiety, but not letting it hijack your behavior and say something you'll regret. And this right here is why it's an absolutely non-negotiable skill for anyone in a leadership role. The ability to stay cool, calm, and effective when things get messy is what separates the good managers from the truly great leaders. It's how you build resilience. Okay, so we've looked inward. Now let's shift our focus to the world outside of ourselves. Pillar number 3 is social awareness. This is where we turn our attention from ourselves to the people all around us. Think of social awareness as your emotional radar. It's that ability to walk into a meeting and just read the room, to pick up on the unspoken vibe of your team, and to genuinely understand where another person is coming from. And at the heart of all of this, of course, is empathy. What's so powerful about this is that it isn't just about one-on-one chats. Social awareness gives you the critical data you need to navigate really complex team dynamics and understand the unspoken politics and power structures in your whole organization. And finally, we arrive at the 4th pillar, the one that brings everything else together: relationship management. This is where your emotional intelligence really becomes action. It's about taking your self-awareness, your self-management, your social awareness, and using all of it to build strong relationships, influence people in a positive way, handle disagreements constructively, and inspire your team. This really gets to the core of what leadership is. And let's be clear, we're not talking about manipulation.
This is about genuine influence. It's the ability to connect with people on a level that makes them want to get on board and enthusiastically back your vision.
Okay, we have covered a lot of the theory. So now let's make it real. How does all this stuff actually show up in our day-to-day lives at work? A perfect example is the difference between empathy and sympathy. You see this all the time. Sympathy, saying, I feel sorry for you, often creates distance. You're kind of looking down from the outside. But empathy, which is about saying, I feel with you, builds a genuine connection. At work, empathy builds trust. Sympathy, even with the best intentions, can sometimes make people feel more alone. Here's another classic one, giving feedback. Poor feedback tends to attack someone's character, right? You're disorganized. But EQ-driven feedback focuses on a specific behavior and its impact. This approach isn't just nicer. It's a million times more effective because it gives the person something concrete to work on without making them defensive. And ultimately, all of this leads to what is basically the holy grail for any high-performing team, psychological safety. As researcher Amy Edmondson puts it, it's that belief that you can take risks, ask questions, and even admit mistakes without being punished for it. And what's so critical to understand is that this kind of environment doesn't just happen by accident. It is a direct result of a leader's emotional intelligence. So, we know what EQ is, we know why it's a huge deal. The final and probably most important question is, how do you actually get better at it? Let's dive into our final section, start building your EQ. Here's a really practical 4-step way to think about it. First, you've got to get a baseline, figure out where you're starting from. Then, and this is important, don't try to boil the ocean. Just focus on improving one specific skill at a time. Third, work that muscle with daily micro practices, something as simple as journaling about what triggered you that day. And finally, you have to ask for feedback from people you trust to see your own blind spots. It's a system, just like learning any other professional skill. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Your intelligence, your technical skills. They're probably what got you in the door and got you to where you are today. But in this new world of work, the real question is this. Is your emotional intelligence ready to take you where you want to go next?